Welcome to the first session of Winds of Earrenia. I just now realized I've been talking to you with no audio. We're going to have some growing pains here, and something to keep in mind, due to the COVID of it all, we are currently playing remotely through Discord, so there will be technological hurdles to overcome, and all we ask is for a little bit of patience with us as we try to figure this out. It's one thing after another. Now we've lost. Alright, apologies. Now nothing's showing up. Alright, so we have no video for the moment. There we go. Alright. Alright, in the center there, we have Ryan playing Malcolm, the human gunslinger. And I need to put you down behind Zuko. To the left, not on webcam tonight, is Jake, playing the half-elf ranger. I want to say hi, Jake.
Hello.
Alright, and to the right, also not on webcam, is Shakira playing Meara, the ASMR huntsman. She is not currently on audio either, but will be joining us as soon as she is able. In the meantime, I will be covering her. So, just a few things to be aware of. If you want to catch up with everything that's happened in our campaign before we started the stream, you can check the About section on our Twitch, or check below if you're watching this later on YouTube. There is a link to a summary of the first two acts, as well as a link to the recap for every session we've ever done, and you can continue checking out that link in the future if you miss episodes or want to remind yourself of what happened when you join us again, which we hope you do. As well, please check out our music credits section as well. It was very difficult to put together a playlist of nice ambient music without running into licensing issues. So these artists have been instrumental with their policies in helping us put together a decent playlist so you have something nice to listen to in the background. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tonight's session. Regulators. When we last left off, you returned from the castle of Clismere the Undying with the last tablet piece needed to unleash Mantis, with the intention of having it sent to the archives with Ardoon to be sealed away forever. Just before he was ready to leave, you were surrounded by members of the Cult of Mantis, and engaged in a violent tug-of-war over the tablet, and surprisingly, as difficult as it was, you managed to overcome the difficulties, kill everybody there, and get away with the tablet, which was later handed to a regent of the Serapis, who put it in a vault where no one, including yourselves, will ever be able to get to it again, and thus you ended the threat of Mantis forever. Returning to town while you were waiting for the airship Serenity to come join you again, Malcolm decided to regale people in the local tavern with stories about a lark, who you recently had to kill after he was corrupted by Orcus. Meara, not feeling up to dealing with the emotional aspects of that death just yet, decided to wander away and was told by the tavern keeper that another huntsman had come asking questions about her, and even the tavern keeper felt he didn't like the way the guy was talking, so he misled her, or misled him to protect Meara's privacy. But Meara, based on the description, recognized that the huntsman was Jeru, an old childhood rival who probably would happily kill her even without the current bounty on her head. So, you use your knowledge of the Palhas underground and smoked him out of hiding and cornered him in the small pub that serves as a secret entrance to the Night Shifter's headquarters, and confronted him. And with his egging and Malcolm's encouragement, Meara has decided to face him alone. So, let's go ahead and get started here. If you guys check out the other screen, there we go. This is a layout of the tavern. Movement is not going to be particularly important this time around. This combat's going to be a little different since it's one-on-one, sword-to-sword, but all of the elements of the environment can be used there. And, of course, you guys, Malcolm and Zuko, you can keep track of where you're going to be. So, if I could have everybody roll for initiative.
Figures I'm not double screening. Hold on.
Okay.
That's a straight roll, correct?
Plus your dexterity. And remember, you have advantage. Meara, you have advantage as well.
It's my dexterity plus 3.
Your dexterity is, yes, plus 3.
19.
Alright. Now, you guys are staying out of the fight, or at least that's the decision you made, but I want to know if you guys decide at any point you don't want to stick to those rules anymore, when you would be able to move. Also, you may want to move to a safer part of the tavern. What'd you get?
20.
I grabbed the wrong dice.
What was that now?
Malcolm rolled a 27 total.
Oh, 27.
Not 20. Not 20. Plus 7.
19.
19. So you're tied with Zuko, but it doesn't really matter because he's not in the fight. Alright, so... let's got the music going here. Give you guys something to listen to as well. Alright, so, as Meara and Jeru square up, Meara pulling out her radiant Hellish Ridera blade. Jeru also pulls out his own silvered sword, which you can see has a green glimmer to it that is runes that run up the blade. They
What
kind
does
of...
that mean? Does that mean poison?
That's a logical assumption. You can't be positive, but... so, as the two of them square up and kind of dance around each other, trying to figure out who's going to make the first move, Malcolm and Zuko, do you guys want to take this opportunity to move to the other side of the tavern, or...
Yes, for the time being.
Okay, so where are you positioning yourselves on that?
Where's the fight taking place on this map?
Essentially right here in the middle.
Oh.
So safest position for you guys would be behind the bar. That should keep you out of any spell effects or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go by behind the bar and pour a drink to watch.
Okay.
Are you gonna pour me one?
Alright, so Malcolm and Zuko run behind the tavern and casually pour themselves some drinks. Unfortunately, there's nothing but very low quality ale that might not be very good anymore, but shouldn't get you sick or anything. It'll suffice. Alright, so as they dash out of your way, Meara, you are first up, so what would you like to do?
I'm gonna strike first.
Alright, so sword.
Yep.
Alright, go ahead and roll for attack. which will be a plus 12.
16 to hit.
16 does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage. I assume you're going two-handed?
Yep.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Which dice did I need for that again?
That if you're doing two-handed, that's 1d10 plus 8.
You said 1d10. Hold on. Trying to find it.
While she's rolling that, the video for me is like wonky on the screen.
On Discord?
On the stream.
Stream
It's
actually
like halfway up.
should. 6 for damage.
All right. Second attack. All right. Did that fix it?
I'm waiting for the stream to refresh. I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Meara, what'd you get for the attack?
Hold on. Still rolling.
All right.
God damn it. Where's the d20 on this thing?
Do you need me to roll for you? Save time.
No, I just grabbed the wrong one. I think I grabbed the d12.
Ah.
16 to hit.
16 does hit. Roll for damage.
Five.
All right. So, as the two of them dance around each other, very suddenly Meara lurches forward and strikes twice, catching Jeru by surprise and nicking him on the each side with her sword. Recovering from his shock, he begins his attack run. Meara, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. $19 total.
All right, fantastic. All right, and he's going to roll with his sword. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 19 to hit. And
That's probably a hit.
Yep, that's a hit. All right, so he hits you with the telekinetic blast, which you manage to brace yourself against and not fall over, and then he comes forward with a sword low, swings forward with it, and does... let's see if I can find my D10. Eight points of slashing damage and... Oh, wrong dice. Six points of poison damage. Alright, you got that?
Yeah, I got that, but how am I supposed to keep track of it?
Alright, I can do that for you.
I don't know if World Anvil lets me do anything.
So that's 14 points of damage total. Alright, just a second. Valencia, what? Get back upstairs. Tomorrow.
What's going on?
This is going exactly like expected. All right. She wants to eat her cookie. She
What's
forgot
going
to
on?
eat her cookie. All right. Sorry, folks.
Let her eat it. Let her eat it.
Okay, go ahead and eat it, Valencia. I just figured bedtime was not the time for sweets. All right. Sorry.
I gave it to her earlier. I didn't realize she didn't see it.
Eat it. All right. Where were you? All right. So that is his turn. Meara, what would you like to do?
I want to use telekinetic blast on him back, just because he fucking blew me.
All right. So dexterity saving throw then.
I just realized that didn't sound right.
Hmm. Your spell
shoot.
save
How
DC
did I
is
do that?
15. That's all right. I got it. Right. All right. So he succeeds. Second attack.
Wait, he succeeded at what?
The saving throw
I
for your
didn't even roll.
telekinetic blast is a saving throw.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Second attack.
I'm gonna use one of my charges. Can I? Since I'm not at full health.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and help you out here because Meara would know this. He is like you. He is resistant to radiant damage, so it's up to you if you want to
Ah.
waste that.
Okay, fine. Regular attack.
All right, so roll to attack.
$18.
All right, 18 hits. Roll for damage.
Six.
6 points of damage. All right, so Meara returns telekinetic blast just like she did. He manages to brace himself against it, and she comes forward with her sword to attack, slashes him across the chest, and in return, he steps back and waves his hand across the floor, and a wave of fire heads in her direction.
Shield.
All right, so roll dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Damn it, I just rolled the wrong dice. Hold on. It should let me have more than one on here. Now 20 bitches!
Nice. All right, so you succeed. All right. Oop. Need more dice. All right, so you take 7 points of fire damage as you bring up your shields and try to step out of the way of the wave of fire. All right, so you are currently at 37 points, just so you know.
Great!
All right, and as a second attack, he is going to swing with his sword again. You know, I don't trust that dice.
Just to set up expectations with Malcolm, if she drops below 20 hit points, he's gonna shoot this guy.
Okay. All right, so
like he's casually drinking and watching the fight right now with a gun on the bar counter. Just
excellent. All right.
That is so Malcolm right now, though.
So 21 to hit, which is a hit. All right, so 1d10. Keep misplacing my dice here. All right, so 9 points of slashing damage. And where's the d8? and 7 points of poison damage. What threshold did you say you were setting, Malcolm?
20.
20 hit points.
I
Alright.
think I hit it, didn't I?
Not yet. Malcolm, go ahead and roll a perception check.
14.
14. All right. All right. So, Meara, your turn again. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna roll attack again.
Sword.
Yep.
All right.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Nice. All right. Roll for damage.
And what do I add for the damage again?
D1d10 plus 8.
Okay, so I haven't been adding the plus 8.
Ah.
I couldn't remember what
Alright.
to add to it.
Well, no worries. This will make up for it. All right. So you already got 18 points, but you just need to roll a
18.
d10. 18,
Total, yeah.
which is 36 points of damage. I love you too.
I said I want to know how to kiss.
Needy little thing.
Yeah.
Love you.
All right. So he is starting to look pretty rough and a bit confused. He was not expecting such a good fight out of you. Second attack.
Alright, hold on, let me get the D20 out. Later, I want you to take a look at this app and find out if I can actually have 2 on the board.
I
19.
All right. He puts up his shield, but as you hit him with your sword, you can see the gap between the blade and his skin as it hits, and then you watch as the entire arcane shield around him shatters into pieces and explodes outwards.
Holy shit. Vaplantia.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Vaplantia? You're welcome. I'll see you in the morning.
You're
That's,
pretty ugly.
21.
21?
Mhm.
At 14. Okay. So that's a success, but you do still get hit a little bit. Alright, you take 11 points of damage. Fire damage, that is. Alright, so as his shield explodes, it hits you. You manage to dodge away from most of the damage, but the arcane energy from the shield ignites several nearby tables, and the floor and parts of the building are starting to catch on fire.
Oh shit.
Malcolm, roll another perception check.
This time I got a 20 total.
20.
Nice.
All right. Meara is starting... She looks determined, but she is starting to look like she's more damaged than she realizes. So that is something to keep in mind when your turn comes around. All right, so... was that your first or second attack, Meara? Lost track.
Wasn't that my second?
Anybody else
Yes.
remember?
Yeah,
you
'cause
had
my
a
first
was
nat
nat
20.
for the first.
Yeah.
All right, so he is going to charge forward with his long sword. That 10 to hit. That's a miss. So he's starting to get confused and flustered, and he goes forward, and he's getting a little bit sloppy. So he swings wide, and you just casually step out of the way. And he's going to try to make up for it with another longsword attack. 17 to hit.
Shield.
Shield.
Bumps
All right.
me up to 18.
All right, so he does actually make contact this time, but you manage to raise the shield just in time, and his blade bounces off of the arcane energy surrounding you. Malcolm and Zuko, your initiative. You guys,
So I noticed that. So I noticed that she's a bit worse for wear. Do I notice like that she's winning the fight at all, or can I roll a check to determine that?
with the perception check you made, he is just a tad bit better off than she is, but not by a lot. You can also hold an action.
Yeah, I'll hold an action. Like like I said, I had a pistol on the bar counter. I'm going to go ahead and actually grab it and put my finger on the trigger in anticipation.
All right. So what is
to
the
fire off a shot?
what is the triggering event?
I guess the triggering event would be Meara falling unconscious.
Okay, understood. Zuko, you got anything?
I mean, I can get a throwing knife ready.
Okay, same
I've got
trigger.
5 of those. Yeah.
All right. So at this point, the tavern is starting to catch fire. The barkeep has crawled his way into the back room and is prying open the trap door. Malcolm and Zuko, if you take a glance back and you see Sebastian's head popping out, trying to figure out what the hell is going on up here. And before you're able to make any response, Meara, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna attack him again.
All right.
$19.
19. And he does have his reaction back, so he's going to use shield again. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Nat 20.
Nice. All right. So you take 5 points of fire damage. And the the effect of the shield shattering once again catches more of the fire trap of a building on fire. Second attack.
Nat 20.
Nice. All right. So
Wow.
roll for damage. D10 plus 8 plus 18.
So 9 plus 10 is 19 plus 18. I mean, wait, yeah, you did say 18.
Mm-hmm.
It's 35 total.
35. Thank goodness we have an
Thank you,
accountant. All right, so with your second attack, you manage to slice open the front of his armor, and blood is pouring out in the flap between the two pieces of leather. And he's stumbling around at this point, barely standing. Does not understand how somebody a year younger with significantly less experience has managed to best him. but he's going to make a desperate attempt at winning this fight. And that is a miss. So now he is going to try a firebolt. And that is another miss. Alright, so he takes a swing at you, but at this point he's barely able to stand up. So the blade misses, and then he tries to throw a firebolt at you. It goes wide, hits another wall of the tavern, which also catches on fire. At this point you are in the middle of an inferno, but Meara, your adrenaline is at the point where you don't even realize it. So Malcolm and Zuko still holding the same actions?
Yeah.
Alright. Meara,
I
what
think
would
Malcolm is actually going to start walking his happy ass towards the door. Just throw that out there.
Oh, also, yeah, sorry, I'm forgetting some of the ancillary events here. At this point, one of the support beams in the ceiling of the tavern falls down and actually blocks off the front door. So that would be up here. Meara, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna attack him again.
Alright. Sword or spell?
Sword.
Alright.
If I use a spell, it's gonna knock this place out. Which is what he didn't think about. 17.
17 is... 17 is a hit. And he is not going to be using the shield again. At this point, it would do more damage to him than good. So go ahead and roll. Actually, don't bother rolling for damage. How do you want to do this?
I want to grab him by his hair and pull him down to my level.
Alright.
And tell him, how is this for a pup? And then, you know, jab my sword into his chest.
Alright, straight through the heart?
Yep.
Alright, so you see Meara grabs him, yanks him down by the hair, barely standing herself, and shoves the entire blade of her longsword through his chest. It comes straight out the back, and for a moment he's like propped up like he's on a kickstand. You gonna pull the blade out or kick him off of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. She pulls out the blade and he collapses onto the floor. Alright, so Jeru is dead. And at this point, every wall, the floor, the ceiling is ablaze, and Sebastian is like, "Come on, get down here!" In the back room where the trapdoor is.
So I run to where they're at.
Alright. Meara comes to join you guys. You going through the back and down with him?
Yep.
Yep, still carrying a drink.
He's casually carrying that drink.
Alright, once again we are having video issues, but is what it is. Alright, so you guys rush into the back room and down the trapdoor, closing it behind you, and just as you close the trapdoor, you hear the entire structure collapse in on itself. And you are safely in the Night Shifters headquarters in the sewers below Palhas City. Why is that still going? Alright, so you make your way down the trapdoor staircase and into the Night Shifters headquarters proper. And Sebastian brings you all over to the main desk where you, not so long ago, handed the third tablet over to Miles. And he takes one look at Meara, who, at the moment, she is not in control of the glow of her hair, but there's so much soot and blood caked in it at the moment that it is actually dulling the glow. And he reaches behind his desk and pulls out a bottle of dark brown liquid and a glass and pours one into the other and kind of shoves it into Meara's hand. Meara, I think you need this.
I drink it.
All right. It is some sort of spiced rum.
Nice.
You can't. There's no label on the bottle anymore. You can't tell exactly where it's from, but at the moment you don't really care. By the way, you are at 5 hit points.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So.
Damn.
So what the hell was that? I know you were excommunicated, but now they're trying to kill you.
Eat the last tablet for him, and I told him to fuck off.
Okay, you cut out a bit there, but I think I got the gist of what you were saying.
Hold on.
So he says, it's bad enough you three are responsible for saving the world from Mantis, and now you have to deal with Ivor as well. And he stops for a moment. Strange, I shouldn't have been able to say that.
His name?
Yes. There's certain things I know that I'm not supposed to be able to say. Strange. We still have everybody?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm still here.
So does our events with securing the fourth tablet, have they been passed along this far yet in the world, or?
You got the last tablet somewhere that he can't get to it. Is that
Correct.
what you said?
What I'm saying is, would Sebastian know
Would
that?
news travel
that,
fast? Yeah.
I mean, that happened outside of the city, and it's been an hour. And
So,
nobody witnessed it, so.
So I would bring up to Sebastian that the fact that he can say that probably means that the tablet's secure and Mantis isn't coming back.
Well, here's to one problem being solved. Now on to whatever the next one is. Well, I'm glad you're all right, Meara. And I'm
Thanks,
sorry
Matt.
that you have to deal with your own peers trying to kill you. Well, he sets the bottle on top of the counter and says, "Feel free to finish that. Unfortunately, now I have to figure out what to do about our entrance." And
Yeah, sorry about that.
not your fault. I understand. And it wasn't up to code anyway. He points at the guy who runs the tavern and, handles the secret entrance, and says, "Come, we have to figure out how we're going to get this thing rebuilt and what kind of story we're going to come up with for how it burned down." And the guy looks back at him, points at himself, confused, and he's like, "On paper, you own the tavern, don't you?" There's a realization on his face, and and he he was just getting ready to dig into that bottle himself, and disappointingly puts it down, and follows Sebastian. Auf Wiedersehen, good luck, and takes off. So, is there anything you guys would like to deal with before leaving?
I'm gonna take another glass of the spiced rum.
I was gonna say I'm gonna take care of that bottle of rum.
Yeah. Meara, do you want to do anything about those whole 5 hit points you have left?
Yeah. What was it that you said I could do? I completely forgot.
Well, do you remember how many hit dice you used after the fight with the cult?
3. That it put me up to 63.
Okay, so you have 6 hit dice left you can use. You can roll 60-10.
You have second wind as a fighter as well.
Yeah, what's second wind do?
On your turn, you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your hit dice first, and then possibly use second wind.
So my D my D10.
60-10. You can use to heal back up.
So I have 8. $13.
Are you you're doing one at a time, right?
Yeah, I'm doing one at a time.
Okay, so you're up to 13 total so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're adding it. All right, I thought those were individual dice rolls. All right, 13.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, those are individual dice rolls.
But you were adding. I didn't realize you were adding up yourself.
Yeah. Uh, 22 total.
On top of your 5?
Top of my 5. Yeah.
All right, so that brings you to 27. All right, so do you want to use the second wind?
Yeah.
That would be D10 plus 8, right? Because it's fighter level, Ryan?
Yeah.
Correct, fighter level, so 1d10 plus 8.
10 total.
All right, so 37. That's not horrible. Still at the halfway point, but probably won't be getting into any more fights. So,
Good.
If you do, just stand behind me. I'll shoot him.
Well, you notice how he said probably, right?
right, you never know, especially with you guys. Who knows? You might pick a fight with someone.
Malcolm.
If anybody tells him the wrong in again.
All right, change your guys' music because you're
Malcolm
probably
doesn't
still.
pick fights, he ends them. Thank you.
That is true.
All right, so you guys take a half-hour rest, finish off the bottle of rum, and you head out the back exit into the cemetery behind the now burned-down tavern, where you were once ambushed by Ardoon and his partner. Memories.
Sweet memories of being tied up to a chair for no reason.
So, with that being said, the rest of the day is yours. It is currently about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep, 1300. And let's go ahead and get the city map up here. All right. So, the rest of the day is yours. What would you guys like to do?
I'm not even sure what we were gonna do before this.
All right,
Is this where we're able. Say what?
just some reminders. The Jarl has asked for your attendance within the next few days.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Of course, when he sent the message out, he had no idea when you were coming back, but you were informed that he would like to see you sometime soon. You guys haven't been by Alhai's recently. And then, of course, there's that thing with Zuko that I wanted to do. So, what would you guys like to do?
Let's do that thing with Zuko.
Alright, well, that's kind of a. I want to see if there's anything new or anything interesting in town.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Okay, so you guys want to wander with Zuko, or do you guys have anything where specific you guys want to go?
I would like to go to Alhai's Bazaar.
You know what? I'll follow Malcolm on this, and let's see what we find.
Okay, so Zuko, you just want to let them guess your tastes, and if they see anything you would like, they'll pick it up.
Something cheap.
bad.
Something cheap.
I'll go with them, and then after that, I'll do my thing.
Okay, so first up, you guys decide to go and visit Alhai's. It's a nice sunny day, no bad weather hitting the tent, so it doesn't look as spectacular as it usually does. But you step in, and you are immediately hit with this rancid methane-like smell that wafts out the tent flaps at you.
So you getting high?
No, it is not that kind of smell. It smells like somebody with bad gas.
Oh dear God.
And you wander in and you see the large feline shop owner chasing around several small children. Some of them are gathered around a small table that seems to be filled with novelty magic items at low prices. But a few of them are trying to get out of his grasp. He grabs two of them by the nape of the neck, picks them up. I have told you not to set those off in the store. Now I expect you to compensate me for the ones that you've broken. And he puts them down and puts his paw out, in which the kids throw a few coppers and kind of sullenly wander out of the store. And he looks up and sees you guys, and he picks up a small paper fan and unfolds it, starts swinging it through the air, and you notice there's a bit more of a gust coming off of it than should be naturally possible, but the smell starts to wander away. That's why I'm looking at the wrong binder.
Did the kids set off stink bombs?
Welcome. Apologies for the smell. Unfortunately, odor with human children is a common problem. And he looks over, and you see there's a jar with these little yellow pebbles in it, and a label that's labels them as stink rocks, which and the description explains that essentially they are, if you drop them and step on them, they leave a arcane cloud of a bad gas-like odor that lasts for several hours.
I find it funny that the kids are doing it though.
So, what is it I can help you with? Would you like to look over some of the new things we have?
Yes, we do.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, well, any particular things you're looking for by category, or any problems you've been running into that you would like to solve with magic?
I almost think we need one of those fans for Zuko in the tent.
Wow.
Do you
Because
actually?
he's been eating all that cheese.
So I'm gonna have to buy some of those stink rocks.
So Malcolm, do you actually mention the fan?
No.
Okay. Yeah, he places it back on the display. So is there anything you guys are looking for in particular? Or do you just want to look around and get a visual on things that you haven't seen in here before?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. Looking around the shop, besides the fan and the new novelty items that were not on display last time, let's see. Alright, you see a set of leather armor that has a blue glow to it. You see a amulet, which is a black opal circle with a hole in the middle and a metal rim. You see
I'll take a. Go ahead.
You see a small bag of what looks to be marbles, and has an ornate design of tabaxi origin from the looks of it, based on the embroidery. You see a golden brooch. A large gold and blue ornate bowl, and the edges of the rim are shaped into waves. You see what looks to be a musical chime. And you see a blue and gold glass, not sure what you would call it, like a decanter. Looks kind of like a horn, a water horn.
Oh, could I check that out?
Okay. You're using Malcolm's help to figure out what it is?
Yes.
Magnifying glass all around.
Alright, so the object that Zuko is looking at is the decanter of endless water. It is a flask that is, let's see, you could use an action to remove the stopper and speak one of the 3 command words, whereupon an amount of fresh water or salt water, your choice, pours out of the flask. The water stops pouring out at the start of your next turn. Choose from the following options. Stream produces 1 gallon of water, fountain produces 5 gallons, geyser produces 30. And can actually cause an effect on the battlefield. And that is what that does.
That sounds cool.
Any
that does
other?
sound cool. What does that kind of go for?
Let's see.
We could have used that in the Burning Inn.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like
Yeah.
30 seconds ago.
Although, ironically, with your guys' luck, you probably would have drowned yourselves. Oh, that's another thing. I forgot other item you saw, but we'll discuss that in a second. Alhai looks at it and glances over, thinks about it for a moment. I'm having a hard time finding pages today.
And he does recognize that I've got their emblem on my cloak, right?
Yes,
I'm sure he knows who we are.
he remembers the discount.
Making sure.
And we lost video again. Alright, so that is going to be about 600 gold pieces.
How do we keep losing video?
I don't know what's going on. We'll have to look into it later, but...
How could he forget Zuko, the half-elven billboard?
Yeah. And what was that last mystery item you were?
One other
Talk
thing
about.
you see appears to be a golden collar with a blue gem in the front.
Dude, I want to take a look at that.
Okay, Malcolm giving her help.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I keep looking. All right, so that is a collar of water breathing.
Oh. I like that. What does that go for?
Just a moment, let me find it again.
Can it actually fit a human, or would it be for like a wolf or pet?
Right, what would it be for?
It's designed for humanoids. It will adjust in size based on the size of the person, but
Who was the person who almost drowned?
Zuko.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that for you, buddy.
all right. So the collar of water breathing. $5,000 is the retail price. And let's see.
Shit.
But of course, you guys do have a discount, so let's see.
I still don't think that's happening.
Wait, how much was it?
5K.
Oh, whoa. Sorry, Zuko, I don't think we can do this.
Of
We
course,
broke.
you can also
Well, not broke,
negotiate
but
depending
we
on
don't
how
have
much,
enough.
how badly you want it, and you can also have him set it aside. Trying to remember what percentage we agreed on for the discount.
Neither can I. Did anybody write that down?
I don't know that we were actually given the specifics of the discount ourselves.
I don't.
Right, I think
were,
we
yeah.
said we were going to talk about it, but we never did.
Uh, 30% sound right? 30% sounds fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, sounds fair to me.
Wait, this is all you with Nelly? I didn't even notice it.
So it would be 3,500. Yeah, 3,500 after your discount. So something to keep in mind. Any of those other items that looked interesting?
Yeah, I was looking at the. I was interested in the bowl and the brooch.
Yeah, me too.
Slash
Yeah,
amulet.
that sounded interesting. I just didn't voice anything so I wouldn't interrupt you.
All right, so
Ow.
let's see. Someone mentioned the bowl. The bowl is bowl of commanding water elementals. While this bowl is filled with water, you can use an action to speak the bowl's command word and summon a water elemental, as if you had cast the conjure elemental spell. The bowl can't be used this way again until the next dawn. The bowl is about 1 foot in diameter and is half as deep. It weighs 3 pounds and holds about 3 gallons of water. The brooch. Brooch of Shielding. While wearing this brooch, you have resistance to force damage, and you have immunity to damage from the magic missile spell. It's an oddly specific item. Anything? What else was there? Oh, the leather armor, by the way, is +2 armor and gives you resistance to fire damage.
So it would be leather. So it add 2 to AC of leather armor, and it would be resistance to cold. You said
Yep.
Fire.
Fire.
Or fire,
What is
yep.
Fire. Let me see. How much is it?
Just a moment. Just a moment, I need to do a comparison here.
What was that?
What was what?
Okay, never mind. That was me. Apparently, a World Anvil has fucking sound effects now.
So that leather armor would be 1,500 gold. Again, this is all before discount, so...
True.
Is that something Malcolm wants?
I think it's something Malcolm wants.
I'm thinking about it because that would make my AC 18.
Yeah, mine too.
And I believe the only other thing I mentioned was the chime.
Yeah.
What's the chime? What does that do?
Chime of Opening. This hollow metal tube measures 1 foot long and weighs 1 pound. You can strike it as an action, pointing it at an object with 120 feet. That can be opened, such as a door, lid, or lock. The chime issues a clear tone, and 1 lock or latch on the object opens unless the sound can't reach the object. If no locks or latches remain, the object itself opens. The chime can be used 10 times. After the 10th time, it cracks and becomes useless. So it is a consumable magic item.
Huh.
For us people that don't know how to lockpick.
Yeah, since you no longer have a rogue.
Right.
What does that go for?
Chime of Opening. Where'd it go? 500 gold.
Well, I don't think that the leather armor
There we
is a
go.
good trade-off for me, so I'll pass on everything.
Okay. Anybody see anything they wanted?
Well, that leather armor is interesting, but I think I'm wearing... What was I wearing? Hold on.
You're wearing a breastplate, I
A
believe?
steel breastplate with leather
coating.
on it.
So, let's see how that would work out. It's +2 armor.
Right. And my AC is 16.
What's your dexterity modifier?
+3.
It would not. It would make it the same.
Okay.
Except it would add
Because you have.
another resistance. So you would be looking more for the same armor you have in +2. If you wanted to
Right.
upgrade to a tougher armor.
So I have scale mail armor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, is that comparable, the same?
What's your dexterity modifier?
+4.
You would be at 17 with the leather with +2 leather armor. You're at 16 right. You're at 16 right now.
Yeah.
you'd gain 1 extra AC.
Yeah, I don't think that's worth it at this time.
Okay. Is there anything that caught your interest?
Hold on a second.
You said one of the things was the magic missile. Was that the brooch?
Yeah, the brooch. You have resistance to force damage, and you have immunity to damage from the magic missile spell, specifically.
Gotcha. And then wasn't
That's
there an
pretty
amulet
specific.
as well?
Oh yes.
Yeah, there was a. Yeah.
Apologies, I forgot about that one. Amulet of the Plains. While wearing this amulet, you can use an action to name a location that you are familiar with on another plane of existence, then make a DC 15 intelligence check. On a successful check, you cast the Plane Shift spell. On a failure, you and each creature and object within 15 feet of you travel to a random destination. Roll a d100 on 1 through 60. You travel to a random location on the plane you named. On 61 through 100, you travel to a randomly determined plane of existence. That could get bad.
Holy crap!
Wait, what
High
now?
risk, high reward.
Yeah. Also, you guys haven't really been... Well, with the exception of the Feywild, you haven't really been to many other plane locations, so it's probably not something that would serve you very well. And of course, he has the usual run of various magic potions. Hold on a second. What? It's alright, just go to bed. I'll get it in a little bit.
What's going on?
She wants the gate up. So, anything you got... Oh! There's another item I forgot to mention. The bag
Oh.
with the tabaxi design on it.
The marble.
Yeah.
Yep, Bag of Tricks.
What, Valencia? Yeah, I'm fine. Get some sleep, baby.
Alright, bag weighs half a pound. You can use an action
Love you.
to pull the fuzzy object from the bag and throw it up to 20 feet.
See you
When the
tomorrow.
object lands, it transforms into a creature you determine by rolling a
Good
d8
night.
and consulting the table that corresponds with the bag's color. This color is
He's asleep, baby. He's fine.
tan-colored cloth.
You gotta close the door for him to stay asleep.
So it would basically allow you to
Love you
summon
too.
either a jackal, ape,
See you in the morning.
baboon, axe beak, black bear, giant weasel, giant hyena, or tiger.
Good night, Valley. Close the door.
Creature vanishes at the next dawn or when it is reduced to 0 hit points. Creature is friendly to you and your companions and acts on your turn. You can use a bonus action to command how the creature moves and what action it takes on its next turn. Or give it general orders
sounds
such
cool.
as attack your enemies. In the absence of such orders, the creature acts in a fashion appropriate to its nature. Once 3 fuzzy objects have been pulled from the bag can't be used again until the next dawn. What?
What do you guys think?
Love you too.
Somewhat interesting.
It's interesting, but I don't know if it's something we would use.
I just pew pew.
Yeah.
See you in the morning. Did you have any interest in the decanter?
What's the decanter?
Yeah, I actually did kind of like that. It could be useful at times.
And it's only 600, which with your discount...
And I would also ask it, how
420.
often.
What's
I would
that?
also ask how often he may come across items that would help boost a person's dexterity beyond mortal limits.
No,
Have-
for you.
So you're talking past the 20 limit without the
Correct.
magic. Okay, that's right. The boots of elven kind. I have not seen anything like that in recent times, but I will be sure to write it down and inform you if it happens to come through. Something of that nature.
Sounds good enough to me.
Mm-hmm.
How often can that decanter be used? Unlimited? How many times during a day?
I don't think it has a limit. It only operates for basically one turn at a time, I believe. Let me double check
Okay.
before I. Yeah, it doesn't say there's a limit.
Yeah, I will purchase that.
All right, so that will be 420 gold.
Yep.
Did anybody else see anything they want?
No.
All right.
Yep, I'm good.
Well, he thanks you for your patronage. Asks you to come again soon, and you guys exit the tent. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I'm just doing my math.
I think I'll probably head over to the normal markets.
Okay. And what are you looking for? So are you guys waiting for Serenity to come to you before you go to Jarl's?
I mean, I guess we could go to the Jarls if you guys are ready.
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
Can we wait? I kind of want to explore town a little bit.
Okay. So just a heads up, if you guys wanted to do Zuko's thing and then go to the Jarl's place by foot, you would get there about an hour before Serenity was ready to pick you up anyway.
Okay.
And if you wanted to redirect...
I'll be right back. I got to go use the bathroom.
That's
I'll be
fine.
right back.
Do we want to take a quick break while she's using the bathroom?
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we get back, we will find out what we've got in store for Zuko's exploration of the city. Back in a few minutes. All right, we are back. Make sure our audio is actually on. Yep. All right, so as you guys exit Alhai's shop tent, you head out into the city, and it is still about 1:30 in the afternoon. So before you head out to the Jarl's place, Zuko expresses some interest in exploring parts of the city that you have not seen yet. Yeah. There's definitely some latency issues here. But you go wandering into... I'm sorry, I need to look at the map for Palhas. The Hidden Stair, which is a part of town that you have not gone very far into, looking for anything that might catch your interest. And about halfway down about the third or fourth step of the district, you come across a very oddly shaped building. Appears to be made of seven hexagonal structures pushed together, each having its own individual pointed roof, and a somewhat worn out sign in the front, which is a bit out of place for the district, that says the Alfardarine Museum of Culture and Artifacts.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, just in case you guys have forgotten, Alfardarine is the name for ancient elves. Kind of encompasses all of the various ethnicities that exist today. So, it catches your interest. What would you like to do? Zuko, I'd say it catches your interest more than anybody else, so you may be leading this one.
Yeah, I would like to go and check it out.
All right. So you guys walk up the steps to the double doors. Nice. What looks like it was nice, high quality wood at one point. Has seen some wear and weathering, and has not been kept up very well in recent years. But Zuko opens the front doors, and you are all hit with a wall of smell, which is mostly the smell of mothballs masked thinly by the smell of incense. And stepping into the building, you close the doors behind you, and your ears start to ring a bit because the plush wall-to-wall carpeting, which is a novel concept at this point, along with the tapestries on the wall, creates an almost soundproof effect in this room.
That's cool.
And sure enough, you step into the first room, and it takes up that entire front hexagon structure. On the back three walls, there is a doorway on each one with thick red velvet curtains. There is a small desk in the center of the structure. The walls, as I said, are covered in tapestries, with the exception of one off immediately to the right that is covered in wooden plaques with a gold-colored metal plating and names. The plaque at the top says Friends of the Museum, and only one name means anything to you at all. The most recent one, though it looks like it's been there for a little while, is Gerbeth Greybrewer, the dwarven man you met at the Feast of Champions, the one who was admiring the silver lion statues.
Oh,
The one who had a boner.
When you come in, you can hear a violin being played in another room. And as you close the doors behind you, it comes to a stop, somewhat abruptly. And let me adjust the music here a little bit. You see the center curtain open slightly, and the head of what looks to be a human man, but he has a slight point to his ears. And he's at very low level, but he sticks his head through. He's got very close haircut, and nice white beard, closely shaven, and he sticks his head through the curtains. He had a moment later, the curtain opens up all the way, and a man wheels himself into the front room on a very battered-looking combat wheelchair. Getting a closer look at him, you can tell he has some elven descent, but probably more human in recent generations. And he wheels himself up front, and as he speaks, you notice he has this. His voice has this low buzzing quality to it, like a nest of angry hornets. And his his immediate appearance, he has this tough look about him that doesn't strike you as someone who would usually be running a museum. But he puts on his friendly customer service smile and rolls in. Welcome to the Alfardarine Museum of Culture and Artifacts. Admission is 6 silver, and since he looks around, not very busy today, I'll throw in a guided tour for free if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so everybody throwing in 6 silver? Or is somebody
Yep.
covering everybody? Okay. So,
I'll throw in.
all right, so everybody pays him 6 silver. Oh, well, thank you very much. Nice crowd you've got here. I don't think I've had this many people in here for months. Well, guided tour. We'll go ahead and start in the center room here, and he wheels himself towards the center door that he came out of. And you pass through the curtains with him. It's a larger hexagon than the rest, but once again, the entire structure is taken up by one room. There are doorways with red velvet curtains on every wall. The central exhibit is it startles you a little bit at first. A dragon head skull that takes up most of the center of the room. Upon closer inspection, you get the impression it's probably a recreation, not an authentic dragon head. The rest of the room is dedicated to the ancient history of the Alfardarine, going all the way back to thousands of years ago, before there was much distinction between many of them. Talks a lot about the Alfardarine Empire in Sacramond. Shortly, once the Age of Dragons came to a close, most of Sacramond was ruled by an empire of elves, and all races had lived under their rule during that time. It includes paintings depicting the historic events, a miniature model of what one of the ancient empire cities may have looked like, based on the ruins that have been found. As well as a few vases, swords, and other, household artifacts that have been dug up in excavations. And he, goes through the history of some of the stuff, gives a brief overview of how some of the artifacts were recovered, brags a little bit about the fact that pretty much every authentic artifact in this museum he collected himself. But it says, unfortunately, can't get around much these days, so pretty soon I will have to start buying from collectors to continue building the museum. Anything you guys would like to look at in particular in that room before he moves you on to the next?
Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the swords.
Okay. It's a whole range of short swords, long swords, claymores. Most of them they're definitely showing signs of age, but ancient elven craftsmanship. They are holding up surprisingly well for having probably been sitting in a ruin, not being taken care of for thousands of years. You recognize some design features, though none of them are identical to your sword, Meara. You definitely recognize the style and the craftsmanship as your sword took from these designs. None of them appear to actually belong to the Hellish Ritera directly, but like you said, you see some similarities. The main
Do I see anything that resembles that broken bow that I'm carrying around?
roll a perception check.
Eight.
All right. No, you do not see anything that triggers any recollections or similarities to the bow that you have at the moment.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Malcolm?
No, I didn't really hear anything that would catch my eye.
Okay. All right. So he moves you on to there's no way for me to display this. The door immediately to the left of the one that you entered the center room through. So you are one over from the lobby now. This one it's another smaller structure, like about the same size that the lobby was. If the dragon skull startled you, some of your hearts almost stop as you step into this room. The central exhibit here being a stuffed blink dog.
Oh, fuck no.
Crap.
And posed very expertly to look very lifelike. This room is mostly plaques with historical excerpts and paintings detailing the tribes of a Creomond. It includes a map of the continent with the areas that each tribe considered their territory. Mentions the split between the High Elves and the Wood Elves that occurred historically in Sacramond. And obviously the Wood Elf culture was more, that mindset was more popular among the elves that remained in Creomond before the Great Migration. And it also details the exodus of the Wood Elf tribes that occurred shortly after settlers rediscovered a Creomond. The Wood Elves were spread across the continent for thousands of years, and then when people from Sacramond started showing up, they took off to Irala. And there's some artifacts of stuff that was abandoned very shortly before settlers started coming through. As at this point, Zuko, you notice that he's staring at you. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I got ahead of... he introduces himself as Rynos, which you do recognize as an elvish name. And you notice at this point he's kind of staring at you, like examining you.
Okay. I don't want to be a dick.
It's up to you if you want to even acknowledge it or if you just want to try to ignore it.
I'll just try to
Part of me
ignore it
just
for now.
wants to be like, take a picture, last longer, but I didn't.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like pass it off for now.
Okay.
Ignore it.
After a few moments of observing you, he says, "What's your name, son?"
Zuko.
Zuko. What do you know about your family history?
Matt, do
Yeah.
I know much, or I do?
Well, you were an orphan originally. You were left on a doorstep of a temple, and you were adopted by a half-elf from the Cormanthorgase.
Okay, so I don't know anything
Yeah,
about
so you
my
don't know any about your
family.
genealogy.
Ouch.
Okay,
I completely forgot about that.
so I'm going to say no, I was an orphan.
Shame. Blue skin. You, seems you may have descended from a sea elf tribe. Very, very rare. Shame you don't know anything about it. I'm curious how something like that happened. Well, anyway, sorry, not like I want to turn you into one of my exhibits or anything, so should probably go ahead and move on. So he guides you into, unless there was anything that you guys wanted to ask him about what you learned in this room.
I'm seriously impressed by the stuffed blink dog.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. This guy gave me a bit of trouble, but he put up a good fight, so I figured he deserved a place of honor. They, not generally very aggressive, but I got pulled into the Feywild once on one of my expeditions, and apparently ended up in the center of his territory, and he didn't care much for it. So it was me or him. So I had a taxidermist stuff him, and now he's a good friend, and in a way, good guard dog. Well, all right, moving on. We're walking. You move on to the next. You're at this point. You're kind of going around the outer circle of these structures. The next building you enter, the central piece. This one triggers your memory, Zuko. It is a miniature replication of a temple, according to the plaque, a temple of Getia, which is the first thing that triggers you, because Getia is the goddess that you are supposed to be attached to. It is and then you start to recognize the shape and the design of the temple. It is a giant wooden structure made of living trees. The trees were shaped and twisted together to form a building with a canopy for a roof. A canopy of leaves.
That is so fucking cool.
And this one specifically triggers your memory because at this point you remember that is the very same temple that you ended up entering, trying to protect it from intruders, which caused you to lose your connection to the Cormanthor Gusei.
Holy shit.
The rest of the room is dedicated specifically to what in common is referred to as the Twilight Tribe of elves that lived in the Palhas Freelos region, and a bit up into Casenna. And there's artifacts from their daily lives, examples of the homes that they built, and little bits of history that he was able to pick up about the way they lived and what they did. Artifacts include a druid staff, a few recovered arrowheads, an old water skin, and a replica headdress. Anything about this room that you guys want to go over with them?
Question.
Yes.
Is there anything in there that I believe would have been inside of that temple?
Roll another perception check.
16.
16?
Ooh, that's better.
Yeah.
You look thoroughly through all the artifacts. There's nothing that sticks out to you that says that had to have come from the temple. There is one item that looks like it could have been located in a temple. An old book that it's the title isn't quite readable to you. The language is a little dialect's a little bit off, but you definitely recognize that it includes the Fira, and it bears the symbol of the symbol that you recognize from the armor of the Hellish Ritera, as well as Meara's sword.
Okay. I'm going to ask him some more questions about that book.
This, surprisingly, found this buried in a chest out in the woods near that temple that replica is. Seems somebody wanted to protect it and keep it hidden away. Unfortunately, they either weren't able to locate it again or weren't able to recover it before the migration to Urala. What do you want to know about it?
It looks like it's something that may have been in a temple of some sort at some point in time.
Does appear to be a religious text. Covers the goddesses of the Meara. Basic information about them. May have some point been in the temple. I never went inside. While I've been in many elven ruins, I tried to avoid anything that looks to have spiritual significance. This museum is about respecting and appreciating elven culture, and I don't want to violate it in the process.
I appreciate that.
Well, so do I. I am, of course, of elven descent myself, very connected to that part of my bloodline. If you're interested in the book, I have made copies, and could sell you one when we're done with the tour here.
Okay.
It's an interesting read, not overly informative, but it's a nice keepsake from our gift shop. All right. Well, if there's nothing else of interest in this room, we'll go ahead and move on to the next. And he takes you back into the central building. You notice that he skips over the back room, which he waves off, saying that's his workshop. So you're going to the opposite side of the hexagon. The next room that you enter, the central exhibit is a large papier-mâché tree that glows from the inside with lavender light. And you can see, besides the structure of the tree itself, there are these tendrils of purple color coming off of it in strands of various size, which you recognize immediately as the same things you ran into in Presterwick Gorge that caused you to enter the Feywild, or the Fey realm. Let's see what else. Documents the Rockfoot tribe, which occupied the Freelos region, including where you guys ran into that phenomenon. Some pottery fragments, painted rocks, moccasins with particularly thick soles. Anything about this room that you want to discuss with him?
Not that I can think of offhand.
Meara?
Maybe just ask if there's any kind of danger for the Fae, for any Fae creatures or anything to come here.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, that's how you occasionally run into them. Of all of the parallel realms, the Fey realm seems to be the most unstable, next to maybe the ethereal. But, Fey creatures occasionally re-enter our plane through moving portals, including the ones created by trees like this. Although I'd say the bigger danger with these trees is you entering the Fey realm rather than the other way around. Fey creatures can be handled, right, Huntsman?
Yes, they can.
But the Fey realm itself is, I'd say, significantly more dangerous than the creatures that occasionally make their way here.
Right, Malcolm?
Do you say that out loud?
And I kind of nudge him.
As she nudges me, I kind of push back with my arm and shake off the comment.
Okay, he notices this gesture. Oh, I see you. You know from experience.
Man, this dude's fucking observant.
Yeah.
I may or may not have personal first-hand experience of the Fey realm and tricks of the Fey.
He seems to ponder this comment for a moment. Pitcher plant.
I give him a
Oh,
dead
you're
eye stare.
good.
Ah, well, you're lucky to be standing here talking to me. Jeez. Almost had a run-in with one of those, but I knew what they do and managed to spot it before I was in range of its magic. Most people aren't so lucky. I don't know what I would have done if I had actually been caught in its snare. Well then, so, I could take it you've probably run into one of these trees as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dangerous things. I suppose it can't be helped, but, Creomond is littered with these ever since the tribes abandoned the continent. They didn't used to be so common, but when a settlement is abandoned, the tree becomes unstable, and that's how you end up with strands of Fey realm breaking into the mortal realm. But it is what it is. Well, if there's nothing else of interest in here for you, we'll move on to the last and possibly most disappointed exhibit of the museum. And I apologize for how lackluster this one is. It feels like it is doomed to be an uncompleted project until the day of my death. He guides you into the last structure, and this is probably what you've been looking for, Zuko.
Okay.
Central exhibit. It's another a smaller fake tree, but the main purpose of this isn't the tree, but the wooden platform that is attached to it with a canvas covering it. And you recognize it as the tents that you used to camp out when you were still part of the Corman Thorgasay. You would attach these structures to a tree and sleep up off the ground. And looking around, this exhibit is very, very empty. But you see a piece of canvas. Looks like it may have been some sort of banner. It bears the same symbol of your tattoo and the bow that you picked up.
Okay.
There's some plaques with mostly speculative information on the Cormorant Thorgasay. Basically, about all he's figured out is that they were nomadic temple guardians, and that they are possibly still operating across the continent, but they seem to be very few in number, and they have a large job to do since all of the elven tribes have left. As you can see, I don't have many artifacts in this respect. They're an extreme curiosity for me, but there's very few of them, and I've never had the chance to speak to any of them. But this Cormorant Thorgasay, from what I hear, made exclusively of half-elves, or those of mixed descent. And they hop all across the continent, keeping an eye on these elven holy sites. These guys are the other reason that I don't enter anything that looks like it may be a temple or holy site of any kind. Don't want to be mistaken for someone who's trying to damage their property and end up on the wrong end of one of their bows.
I'm going to make a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Wise choice, my friend.
What are you trying to do there?
Just kind of like nonchalantly be like, hey, I was, he might think that I'm part of it, but, try to strike up a conversation about it.
Yes.
Because I was part of that group, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So, he doesn't quite grasp the hidden meaning of what you're saying. So he looks
Okay.
a little bit confused. Yes, from what I've heard, they're pretty lethal. But many Tomb Raider and opportunist has found themselves dead after trying to violate one of these sites. If I were to ever enter a holy site, my only interest would be to look and observe. Would never want to take anything from there, but I would very much like to find some more artifacts from the Corman Thorgasay themselves and learn more about who they are and what they think about all of this. So I always found it very strange, as far as I understand, the Corman Thorgasay isn't allowed to enter the temples either. Yet they were left behind to guard these abandoned holy sites that they are never allowed to step foot in. It's very strange. And I also wonder what motivates them to continue doing the job with no one around to tell them to do it.
Kind of wonder if Zuko should show him the bow now.
I'll just
Or
say,
keep
hey,
him in the dark.
I have something of interest to you. Or that may be of interest to you.
Really? He looks
Yes.
intrigued and doubtful.
I don't know
So
how you could
I'm-
look both ways, but okay.
So I want to pull out that bow.
Expression instantly changes. Before he even gives a chance to thoroughly look at it, he kind of deadpan stare. That he realizes what it is very quickly and has hard time believing he's looking at it. He rolls closer to you and kind of like half puts his hands out, like, asking permission to hold it, but not wanting to seem like he's
I'll
imposing.
hand it off to him so he can look at it.
He gingerly takes it in his hand, and he's barely resting on his fingertips, like he doesn't want to grip it too tightly or anything else. But it just tilts it from side to side, examining the work. This can't be new. Restored?
Yes.
Well, very, very good work. If I'm not imposing, where did you find this?
We found it in a cave that was guarded by... Oh, what was his name? It was like a rock troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grunty.
That's exactly what he. He was a rock troll.
Grunty.
I think I'm familiar with the one you're speaking of, the one that guards the bridge in the Twilight Forest up towards White Bluff.
Yes.
I wish I had stayed the last time I passed through and seen this. Someone must have come across it in the woods and handed it off to him as a toll. Well, this is amazing work. thank you for letting me see this. And he hands it back to you. But just, silently admiring it. And he seems to be, like, trying to photographically keep it in his brain, so that he can make one of his, replicas for an exhibit.
I'm still holding it. I haven't put it away yet. I'm like, was this something that you would like to display in your museum? Keep it safe for me.
His expression is like Christmas has come early. I would be honored. What's your full name?
I think we had discussed that it was Zuko Mousebane.
Yes, Mousebane.
Yeah.
Zuko Mousebane. Come with me, please. And he brings you back up to the lobby. And he pulls out this device from under the desk. It's a flat platform with a needle that sticks down on in a bar, and there's a quill attached to it. He pulls out the quill, and he takes out a piece of paper and writes out your name, and the machine etches your name into a golden metal plate, which he sticks onto a wooden plaque, and it says, on loan from the personal collection of Zuko Mousebane. And he takes the offer of the bow from you, and with the plate, and takes you back to the exhibit on the Cormanthorcase, puts it in a prominent location with a plaque, so your name is now displayed underneath it as the owner who is loaning the bow to the museum.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Well, it'll be exciting to be able to put new exhibit under the sign up front. And he pulls out his pouch, from his belt, and hands you 2 gold pieces. That is for. That is a contribution for finding this and contributing an exhibit. And, as I said, I'm not able to get out much anymore to collect artifacts. But if you are able to find any more, and not just the Cormanthorcase, but any significant older elven artifacts, I'd be happy to pay you for more. This will start bringing people back in.
Absolutely, but you don't need to worry about paying me this time.
Okay.
And I hand the gold back to him.
Well, I think I'll be putting up another plaque with your name on it as well, under Friends of the Museum. I greatly appreciate this.
Did Zuko just turn down money?
Did Zuko just turn down money, man?
He's my people.
Yeah. Well, he's also kind of establishing a partnership here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yes. Well, all right. You won't take the money. I hope you will at least accept this. And he pulls out one of the copies of that book. He says, I'll go ahead and give that to you free of charge.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So you can put in your inventory book on the Fira, since you're not entirely sure what the full translated title is. Even he wasn't able to quite figure that one out. But you now have a copy of that book. Well,
How do you spell that?
the Fira, Fyra.
Alright,
Every time you say it, I keep thinking F-U-R-A, because you're saying Fura.
Fira. It is Elven for the four.
Cool.
So that's in reference to the pantheon of gods. Is that correct?
Yeah, the goddesses, Gedia, Xania, Ophelia, and Sayuna.
lineage-
The ones who chose the original champions, yeah. They are a higher order of god. There is not much of a... I mean, among elves, more commonly, but they've kind of like been brushed over in history because they're not as directly involved in people's lives as the other gods. So there's not much of a religious structure around anymore for them, but they are believed to be more powerful than even the rest of the Orion gods. So yeah, that book will give you some information on each of them. So if there is nothing else you guys would like to do here, where would you like to go from here?
Could I have the name of that museum again?
Yeah. Full name is Museum of Alfardarine Culture and Arts. And the Alfardarine is ALFARDARINE.
And
Museum of Alfardarine Culture and Artifacts. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, so you now have... Oh, and his name, if you want that for your notes, was Lorenas. Lorenas. And you now have a little bit of clue about your lineage. He says you may descend from a sea elf tribe.
Yes, I did write that down.
So that explains your blue skin.
You're a seaman.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have to show you. I really appreciate the visit, and please tell your friends. We could use the patronage.
Absolutely. We'll try to shoot some more people your way.
I appreciate it.
You're doing a good thing here.
Thank you for recognizing that. It's very... This is a non-profit organization. I'm not in it for the money. I just... yeah, I feel like this stuff needs to be preserved. And it's unfortunate that the Wood Elves have left our presence. I feel we are worse off for it. But if they're not here, I will try to bring them in spirit. Well, you folks have a great day, and look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Hopefully soon. I hope I find some artifacts for you.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing them. I'm sure you probably end up in a lot of places where they may turn up.
Quite possibly.
Well, he says his goodbyes. You guys exit the museum. And the rest of the day is yours again.
What time is it?
The tour through the museum took about another half hour, so you are now at about 2.
And we've got time to fill up until 6.
Yeah. So, well, Malcolm, are you going to contact Duskchin?
Yeah, I'll jump on the Vox and let him know that we're going to be going directly to the Jarl's Manor. And then meet us there.
Okay, so you pull out the Vox and you call him and... Hi, Captain. I'm going as fast as I can, you know.
We need more power.
Right, so what's your response?
I would just answer back and just tell him to, just take his time, make sure to keep the ship in one piece.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to do that anyway. Any other reason you contacted me?
let him know that wasn't he going to the spire?
Yeah, that was what you originally told him. I'm just trying to stretch this out into an actual amusing conversation.
Well, Dustin, I'd like you to meet us at the manor instead of the spire, if that's okay with you.
The Jarl's Banner. Big fuck-off piece of grass surrounded by a wall, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I know the place. Yep. Well,
and you can land wherever the hell you want there.
well, just to be safe, I'll put her outside the gates. I don't want the ship getting beat up from a misunderstanding. So I'll meet you outside the gates. Should be 2.5, 3 hours tops. That was weird.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, okay, you heard that too?
It was probably
Yeah.
my phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was some sort of weird audio artifact. All right, so he is aware to meet you at the Jarl's. Anything you guys are doing before you leave the city proper?
Anything else to see?
Nothing else that really draws your attention, except this is one of the first times you see the nicer tavern and inn in that side of town. Up close. It is the... which one was it? The Bottom Step, which is the wealthy high-end inn with a full-fledged restaurant. But usually, above the grade of tavern you guys typically go to. More for the, nobles and stuff that come through visiting. Besides that, nothing else really draws your attention. But you do get a better lay of the land now that you guys have more money. There's more places that may become of use to you at some point. Jewelers, which I think the only one of you that have visited that place was Alaric. This is the first time you've seen the Vanguard garrison in Palha City, which, unlike the one in Annexa, where it seemed to be its own independent fort, it's an entire district of the city, where each soldier has their own home where they can house their family and all of that. You see the Head Maid, which is a high-end brothel and restaurant. The Learned Scribe bookstore. You get to see a few more of the temples that you've never seen before. One to Droana, and a few of the other Orion, Eildir, Chutar, Enki, and Allure. But besides that, nothing that seems pressing to visit at the moment.
Okay.
So, you guys want to head out of the city to visit the Jarl?
Yep.
Question: where did I get my magical arrowheads? Trying to remember.
I can't remember the name of the place.
I think you picked up the raw materials from Iron Man.
Maybe. I didn't write the name of the place, but I wrote, it was the same point in time when I bought my Evan bow. I do have the pricings down for those.
So you want to pick up more of those?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and write off however much you want to spend on those.
Okay. I'm going to do... I'm going to get 20 fire arrowheads,
Okay.
and then 10 more cold, and I'll stick with that for now.
All right, sounds good. Like you said, write off the appropriate amount. Don't have to role play through every shop interaction anymore at this point in the campaign.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going on foot. I assume Malcolm's probably going to ride his new horse.
Correct.
Are you guys wanting to walk on foot behind him, or are you wanting to rent a horse from a livery, or...
I'd rather work on foot.
I'll walk.
Okay. All right. So, you guys go ahead and leave the city via the Rainbridge Gate, which is... of course, it's not showing. Which is over here, number 6. And head out towards the Jarl's estate. It is about a 2-hour trip on foot. Ooh, that is way too much zoom. So yeah, about 2-hour trip out, which puts you at 1600, about an hour before twilight. You as I said, it's still it's about the golden hour when you approach the outside gate. You can actually see a large clearing in the woods next to the gate where Serenity will be able to land. And as you approach, the guards seem to already know who you are and open up for you. And you're hit once again. That the day's all been unpleasant or pleasantly warm for the season. That effect is somewhat nullified when you get into the Jarl's open campus there next to the lake. That bitter cold from the lake hits you and reminds you what season it is. But you can even tell, looking over the lake, that there's starting to be a little bit of a thaw. And ice is floating around the lake a little more freely. And you approach the Jarl's Manor proper, across from the Great Hall. You can see that they've already started to repair the stained glass windows. They're in the process of putting that all back the way it was before the attack. And you approach the front door of his personal home. What would you like to do?
Knock, 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 Jarl. Knock, 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 Jarl. Knock, 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 Jarl.
Who's leading here?
The knocker.
Okay, so Meara is doing the knocking?
You know what? For funny's sake, yeah.
Alright, so the door opens, and you see the helmets of one of the elite guards poke out, and you immediately recognize the voice of Morris, the half-elf one, and he says,
Is it the hot one?
It's the half-elf, the like shoulder-length, or like chin-length blonde hair.
Oh yeah, it's the hot one. Okay.
Music. He pokes his head out, and you recognize his voice. He says, "Oh, hello there. Welcome back. We're always standing right next to this door. You only have to knock once." Come on in. Y'all's been expecting you. So you guys step into the main hallway with the stairs that go up. To the right is the recessed doors that lead into the parlor that you found the Jarl after the attack. But he leads you to the door straight across from it, into the dining room where you interrogated Nilron. As you enter, you immediately gain the attention of which one? The other elite guard. Barros. His helmet is off and tucked under his sword arm. And he looks and he sees who it is. He goes back to standing at attention. Jarl, the regulators here. Jarl Rupert Wasser is sitting at the opposite end of the dining table with some paperwork he's going over. His mane is kind of frazzled, almost like there's a high. Yeah, he's dealing with a high level of humidity, but under the circumstances, you assume he is just kind of stressed out. And he beckons you in. Good. And he starts, pushing some of his paperwork together, stacking it up and pushing it to the side. The dining room is kind of runs long ways across the front of the house. And there's a fireplace on the wall facing the interior of the home. There we go. The dining room table sits in the middle, and on the opposite side is a bay window with 3 separate window panes that run from ceiling to floor. And he invites you to sit to his right, which is the window side. You guys go ahead and take a seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Welcome back. Some things I needed to discuss with you. First and foremost, I didn't get the chance to tell you you've been unreachable since your ship was borrowed for the incident in Elta. But I have sanctioned your guild and would like to finalize, dot our I's and cross our T's on that matter. So he pulls out a parchment which is basically a form. There's some details already filled out, the name of the guild, more or less. The first names of everybody, but the 3-4 of you. No, just be your 3 names, because that's the he wasn't sure what the names of everyone else at the gauntlet was, but he knows you 3 because of the dinner. If you could go ahead and finish filling out your names, I'm not sure of your family names, and put whoever else you would like to be considered an official member on there as well. I would also like you to decide on a symbol, something specifically that could be put on an amulet or a cloak pin, and we can have those made out for you and stamped with the Vossler family seal on the back.
So would we want to put the ship pilot and all that kind of stuff like that on there with the guild members, or?
Well, he's an employee of essentially your shipping outfit, your company, which is kind of separate. Okay. Kaylee might be a good consideration because she's there more for you than the ship.
Yeah.
basically anybody you would want to be able to act on behalf of the regulators themselves, outside of the shipping concerns.
Gotcha. So just the three of us, Kaylee. I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head.
And
Same here.
typically this is something that goes along with taxes, so basically, I mean, whenever you decide somebody else should be added to the list, try to get it updated before the next, before the end of the month, and they will, become officially on paper a member of the Regulators Guild. But yeah, so we ask you to create some imagery, both a banner image and a smaller, icon. Did you guys decide on what you wanted to do with that?
Yeah, I thought we did.
I like the pin in the shape of the R, and then the one Zuko mentioned for the banner.
So the bullet,
that's what we
arrow,
were
sword,
thinking.
all pointing in. So once you had a fourth point, one it would be like a cross. That would be more like a flag image.
Mm-hmm.
In agreement, Zuko?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Malcolm draws out these symbols. All right. We'll go ahead and have this sent over to the city. If you could also write down your preference, each of you, what form you want the icon in for your personal use, and I'll have those made. Those should be done by tomorrow morning. So what do you guys prefer, each of you, to bear the regulator symbol on?
I'd choose a pin for myself.
Like
Yeah,
a like a
choose
or well, like a
pin for my
badge.
cloak.
A pin. I was thinking cloak. That one that holds a cloak closed.
Yeah, a badge would be fine too.
All right. So badge for Malcolm, cloak pin for Meara. Badge.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Cloak pin.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kaylee would probably be best suited with a badge since she already wears a necklace. Her amulet to Nalula.
Right.
And I don't really wear a cloak, so it wouldn't really be fitting for Malcolm to.
Badge seems on style anyway. Kind of gives him a sheriff look. All right. So just so background knowledge, so you guys know what being sanctioned means. Basically means that in Palhas province you are officially recognized, and try not to laugh, as a mostly law-abiding friend of of the province. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card, but if you guys are, if a guard comes upon you guys doing something that might be considered suspicious, they're not going to jump to the worst conclusion immediately. So, for example, if Meara had that sword fight out in the street, and a guard came and found his headless corpse and Meara standing next to it, they would have gone with started with the assumption that it was self-defense rather than hauling you off all to jail until they figured out what the hell happened. It will help guards and nobles in towns and cities you haven't been to yet recognize who you are, and will open doors for you, get you an audience with important people if necessary. This is mostly within Palhas province, though. It's not going to carry as much weight outside the borders. But so that's basically where you stand. You are considered a friend of the province, or friends of the province, and generally trusted by the government here. So it'd be advisable to try to keep your criming to places outside, although the smuggling thing isn't a big deal. Try to avoid any blatant breaking and entering and things like that within Palhas. But so he settles that. So like I said, those will be done the following morning. Second matter of business. Well, where is it you intend to head next?
I believe we were going to be putting everybody to rest. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to be putting Alaric to rest. I also have questions about the state of the Empire as well.
Okay. So starting off, you let him know then that you're going to pull up the map. I can't remember the name of the town now. Well, that's strange.
What'd you do?
I lost track of the map.
Oops.
Boheim. There it is. So you're heading back to... You let him know that you're heading back to Alaric's hometown of Boheim. And he pulls out some lists, some scrolls, and looks over them. All right. If you could be... before you leave for Boheim, talk with the dockmaster at the Spire. We have some supplies that need to go out there. Where after what happened in Elta, I've realized that some of our towns are poorly defended, and we need to correct that. So, if you could pick up some supplies and deliver them there on your way, we'll compensate you for that as well.
Of course.
Alright, so you wanted to interject and ask him some questions?
Yeah, before we headed out, I wanted to ask him if he's heard any ripplings or anything about what's going on in the Empire, since they don't have a god that's coming back anymore.
So you fill him in on what you've done?
Yeah.
There's a mix of emotions crossing him, a bit of confusion, relief, concern, and he even chuckles a little bit at the end of that roller coaster. Well, that's going to make things, what comes next, interesting. Well, to answer your question, I am not aware of any changes, so clearly what you've done hasn't had any immediate effect. But, well, there's somebody you should meet, which is the main reason I actually called you out here. He looks over to Barros, and he says, could you please bring my guest to the dining hall, please? Barros nods and heads out the door. The Jarl stands up, he goes over to the bay windows, and he starts closing these wooden shutters over the windows. So at this point, the only light in the room is the fireplace. Completely forgot about the fireplace. And he sits back in his seat. A few moments later, Barros comes back with what appears to be a woman. You can't see many features, but you can see her hands and the basic shape of her body. But she's wearing a linen cloak with an oversized hood that hides her face. And he guides her into the room, and the Jarl says, that will be all. Go ahead and stand guard outside. And Barros objects. Sir, you heard me. I need the room. So Barros finally, begrudgingly, steps out and closes the door behind him, and then the woman in the cloak kind of glances back to make sure the door has actually been closed. And at that point pulls off her hood. Once she's removed the hood, your eyes are still adjusting to the firelight, but she starts to come into clear view. She is a very tall woman. looks strong. She has platinum blonde hair, which is cut at the chin, and a tattoo on her forehead, which is with a closed eye, flanked by two angel-like wings. And between the haircut change and the tattoo and the general poor-looking demeanor, it takes a moment for you to recognize who it is. But once your eyes have adjusted and you start taking these features away in your mind, you realize that it is none other than the late Empress Alexandra Nordheim.
Whoa. You mean the one that Alaric supposedly killed?
Yep.
Plot twist.
As soon as you
Holy
start
shit.
describing her, I'm like, this is the Empress.
What the fuck?
I was trying to figure out which order to describe her in so that it would take the longest. But
Well, while you were describing her, I was picturing her because when you said she was tall, and that's the first thing you said about the Empress.
Yep, that's right. Should have done it in a different order. Oh well. But-
It's fine. We figured it out. Shushy. Let's go.
All right. So she takes the hood down. She looks over all of you and smiles. You all look exactly like I've seen you in my visions. Except for you, Malcolm. I thought you'd be taller.
Damn, that's cold.
I just
Of course,
have
we're gonna giggle at that.
I just have that kind of presence.
That's what it is. That's why everybody always says that to you. Anybody who's heard about you or had you described and sees you, they're like, I thought you'd be taller. Because you have this larger-than-life reputation. So, okay,
Sort
so...
of like Dean Winchester.
all right, so ball's in your court. You guys want to respond to her presence in any way? Freak out? Aim weapons at her? What do you want to do?
Holy fuck. I'm stunned. So, that's my reaction.
Is Meara's medallion going off at all?
Yeah, good question.
It is not.
What the fuck?
So I guess my first question to her would be, are you undead?
Here for real?
I'm just as mortal as the rest of you. Never been dead. I understand your confusion, though. I know. At this point, you take a glance over at the Jarl, and again, just deadpan stare. You get this impression that like this is what's been frazzling him for a while now, stressing him out, trying to sort all this shit out, and he's just kind of ready for it to be done. I understand you all believed I was dead, and that is what everyone was meant to believe. Of course, you probably felt more certain that I was dead than anyone else. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. We definitely thought you were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we kind of slapped him in the face a couple times after we heard, so.
We kind of know the person that killed you, or thought. That
Yes.
killed
I know. I wasn't certain if he would have told you or not.
Oh, he told us right away. He was full of remorse.
Well, I suppose to put your mind at ease, I should probably start with how I'm still alive. The woman that
you. Yeah,
Alara...
because I was gonna say, because he got a boon for killing you from Orcus.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we're baffled here.
Well, the woman that Alaric killed was a double. Not just someone who looked like me, but as you pointed out, I had to be able to fool a god as well. So there was a lot of complicated magic involved. But the truth is...
So, like a doppelganger?
In a sense. She's a real person. She had her own life. But she was chosen a long time ago for this task. I've been in hiding since my inauguration. because I've known since I was 5 years old that Alaric would someday be coming to kill me. I don't think I have to tell you what it would be like to be 5 years old and see a vision of your own death.
Terrifying.
Especially by his ugly mug.
I'm curious what happened to Alaric in the meantime, but there's other things we should address. So yes, I've been in hiding for, well, pretty much my entire rule. And my assassination was expected. But, as I said, I knew it was coming and I was prepared. And there's a very specific reason that Orcus wanted me killed. He didn't want me helping you. She takes a seat on the opposite side of the table between you and the fireplace. So is everybody comfortable with her presence at this point?
Yeah, just do a little shit.
Yeah, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a mindfuck still, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
Okay. Just wanted to see if she had to do something to prove to you that she wasn't like one of the mantis skinwalkers or.
Well, I do want to bring up and ask why we had to dim all the lights and everything.
Yeah.
Or was it more of a not letting anybody see her rather than a...
Yeah, the Jarl interjects, oh no, that was simply... She intends to remain dead officially, so I don't want anybody knowing that she's here. That's why I dismissed Barrows.
Got it.
Even my most trusted guards. Well, you three are probably going to be the only people besides myself who will ever know that Alexandra Nordheim still lives. Yes. In effect, the reality that everyone believes that Alexandra Nordheim is dead is the way it will remain. She is, for all intents and purposes, dead. So I suppose I should give you some explanation for why we're all here. And I will try to fill in the Jarl here of some details he may not be aware of. These three are descendants of four very special people from history. Thousands of years ago, more than 6,000 years, Fear Normand was ruled over by two gods, the original creators, in effect, Mantis and Eldeth, brother and sister. Eldeth was the goddess of life and creation, light and order. Mantis was the goddess of death, destruction, chaos. She ruled the day and he ruled the night. And while Eldeth was responsible for creating most living creatures, Mantis did not have the power of true creation. In fact, his only his contribution to us being here can't be ignored. If the original immortals had not chosen to procreate at his suggestion, mortals would not exist. However, he was not satisfied with ruling over half of the day, and his limited influence over the expansion of this world, so he killed his sister. And for 1,000 years, he had free reign over the world. It was 1,000 years of constant night, demons, undead, all manner of unpleasant creatures wandered the world, until someday the Fira rose to power, almost match to Mantis in their strength, and they chose 4 champions to banish Mantis from this realm. These 3 descend from those champions. Now, I know the Jarl is familiar with the cult at this point. They've attempted to take his life as well. Their intention is to bring Mantis back to power. And when that happens, these 3 and possibly Alaric or some other individual will be the only ones able to stop him. The Jarl chuckles at this and looks at you 3. Do you want to tell her or should I?
He's not coming back.
She smiles and looks a little confused. And what makes you think that?
Because we found the tablet. And it's well hidden.
Yeah, we'll fill her in on the entire proceedings with us going to... what was the name of the place again? It's on the tip of my tongue, I can't say it.
Him and Verk, the
castle of...
Yep, Klizmir.
Yeah, the castle of Klizmir that are undying.
Okay, but you go into detail about why the tablet can't be accessed, like all the security features of the vault.
Yeah.
Yep.
She kind of slumps into her chair and stares at you. And she pulls something out of her pocket. A foggy crystal orb that it isn't perfectly spherical. There's a lump on one side. But she pulls it out, holds it in her hand, and her eyes go white. At this point, Meara, your amulet starts going nuts, like it's going to pop off the chain. The crystal orb in her hand starts glowing with this blinding bluish-white light that resembles the same energy that comes off of Meara's sword. And for a few moments, her eyes remain white, and the orb continues to glow, and nothing is said. And then the glow disappears from the orb, and her eyes go back to normal. And she looks at you in disbelief, and then starts hysterically laughing, not like something's actually funny, in a haha kind of way, but more existential disbelief. And she says, "I can't believe it. You 3 were even underestimated by the gods. All the years of betrayal and bloodshed and sacrifice, and you managed to stop the future.
When we unknowingly handed over the 3rd tablet, we decided that we weren't going to be pawns in someone else's game. So we just ended the game.
It's amazing that you managed to do so. Us mortals have free will. That makes the future fluid. But the gods and some of us mortals are able to see into the future, and the reason we are able to do that is because some events are so impactful that they ripple back through time. My ancestors... Well, I come from a long line of women with this skill for divination. And more than 5,000 years ago, my ancestors and her sisters, they saw that the Exhilarate was seeking to destroy or hide away all information on Mantis, the champions, anything that would record the Millennium of Darkness and Mantis's existence, hoping to keep him from returning. But we also saw, even back then, that Mantis's return was inevitable. So we absconded with these, and she holds up the crystal orb, the angel's eyes, and we passed down the information by word of mouth until the Hellish Ritera finally faded from history, all with the intent on making sure that when Mantis did come back, the champions would have the information that they needed. It's, well, smaller predictions about the future go this way all the time, but it is remarkable that something so important, something so big, could be altered. The Jarl sighs. So, does this mean the danger is gone? She thinks about it for a moment. No. Mantis has been sealed away forever. That's wonderful. But we do have other problems to deal with.
Orcus.
Yes.
Orcus and the cult, although they may not have although their god may be sealed away, they still hold power in positions across the realm.
Yes.
Right.
See, Mantis may have been a threat to the entire world, but he was more orderly, more, I say lawful? He was this is going to be interesting. He is the one who had the patience to play games with Iranian politics, gradually making sure that my father and I were killed so that my bastard brother was able to take the throne, having a fake church pose as a front for the cult. These are things that Mantis would put up with. Orcus is a different beast. His damage may be limited to only our continent, but he is much more unpredictable. It's hard to say what the reaction of the cult will be, or the temple for that matter. And if Orcus does not have the patience to continue the arrangement with my brother, we may have the first inept usurper to a throne ruling the empire, engaged in a secret civil war between them and the god that once helped him. The empire is in danger from both within and without. And I'm not sure what will happen from here. And the Jarl says, well, what do we do next? She thinks about this for a moment, and then she sets the sphere in the middle of the table, and she asks whoever is sitting at the far end on your guys' side to hold her hand. Any idea who that is? Who would have sat at the end of the table?
I think I was sitting in front of her.
So you're sitting like in the middle?
Yeah.
Alright, Malcolm and Zuko on either side. Who wants to be at the end of the table?
Sure.
Zuko? Alright, so she grabs
Okay.
Zuko's hand, grabs the Jarl's hand, and you see the orb light up again, but then the room flies away from you. You find yourself suddenly floating, perfectly still, in what seems to be water, but is glass smooth. And the space around you is dark, except for the light coming from stars above you. And you don't really have any sense of your body anymore. you're just a presence in this space. But you can see and kind of smell, feel to some extent. And you watch around you just these tiny little specks of light fall out of the sky and hit the surface that you seem to be floating in. And it causes these ripples of color each time one of these strikes, but they're very small and they don't go very far before it flattens out.
Wow.
Anybody have any commentary or want to do anything or try anything?
What is this?
This is what my order calls the temporal ether. It's the way our minds see the flow of time. This is the way the gods see time. You see those little specks, and one of them actually falls fairly close to where you guys are, and you get the impression of her reaching out towards this ripple effect, and all of a sudden your vision is changed. A very quick vision of a woman giving birth, and then it's gone. And then another one falls nearby. She reaches out, and you see an old man on his deathbed surrounded by his family. And then again, the vision disappears. He said, as I said, when things happen, they sometimes ripple back through time, and the future is always in flux. But the last time I was here, there was a tsunami approaching, and the ripples and the waves ahead of it were already here that showed me the return of Mantis. And now, and she kind of gestures around, nothing. Whatever new future is heading our way does not seem to be close enough, and she's cut off. You see a small gray sphere of light fall out of the sky and crash it's hard to tell distance in this place, but what you would imagine to be about 800 feet away. And most of the ripples are still coming out very slowly, but one is way ahead of the rest, and comes your direction, and she kind of has to stretch for it, but she reaches out and touches it. And you get your vision changes again, and you're seeing very, very unstable, shifting images, almost colorless this time. When she points this out, the color, she was like, seems like we're in the realm of the dead. And these images continue to shift, and you see these figures in cloaks. Not like the ones that were worn by the Cult of Mantis. There's a different style to them, and they're more dark. There's no splashes of red or anything else. It's very dark cloaks. Armor hidden, if there's any, hidden below the cloaks rather than, implemented into them. And you recognize the symbol of Orcus dangling from their necks. And you hear chanting in a language that you can't quite understand, as one of these cloaked figures goes up to a stone sarcophagi. On the surface, you see what languages does everybody know?
What is it? And I'll be able to tell you.
This would be Drowish.
No.
I know that one.
And you know Sylvan and Elven, right? Zuko?
Yes.
Okay, so there's you recognize the characters. It's another one of those things where it's like I kind of recognize what it is, I just can't read it. Malcolm? Nobody has Drowish?
No, I just have Common and Night Shifter's Code.
Huh, okay. Alright.
I think I probably should have another language, but I don't think I picked one out. Maybe.
Okay. Well, they say you guys are, at least Zuko is able to recognize it as Drowish.
Right,
And you-
because I have Sylvan, Celestial, and something else, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay, so Meara would recognize that it's Drowish as well. She recognizes the similarity to Sylvan, which was the original universal Elven language. And you hear Alexandra whisper Rivnarat as the stone lid of this sarcophagus is slid off. And inside you see a very, very old elven corpse. And stuck through the center of this corpse is a silver stake. The chanting continues, and this hooded figure pulls the stake out. And you watch as the face of this ancient elf opens up, and its mouth opens to reveal fanged teeth. And that's where the vision ends. And you're back at the dining room table. And Alexandra looks very confused and distraught. The girl says, What was that? And she tries to look for the words. She's like, there's not enough to understand what it is. I'll have to wait for the rest of the ripples. You said something in there. Did anybody else catch it?
Ravnarat.
She seems to be trying to recall her own. She said the effect of going into the ether seems to be different on her. And then she... no, it's Rivnarat. Rivnarat, that was the word. Drowish. I don't even know Drowish. Rivnarat. It looked like a name. Does anybody know Rivnarat? No?
No, but I think we
I
should
mean,
look
can we try to remember if we know the name or not?
Yeah, whoever wants to try,
Right.
roll a history check.
What was history? Intelligence, right?
That is a nat 20 plus 0, so 20.
Okay.
All right, Malcolm. Yeah, with that, okay. It takes you a few minutes. You know it sounds familiar. And you remember it, you realize, from a childhood, a ghost story. Something told around the campfire to scare kids. A story about a vampire. A very old vampire. And of course, vampires are a realistic hazard in the world anyway. But this was a particularly powerful, one of the oldest vampires. As far as you know, it was always just a story. But in the story, he was one of the 3 original vampire families. And then, as you remember that, you realize in the vision, in your peripheral, you caught 2 other caskets around that cloaked figure. But that is all you can really remember it. As far as you know,
That makes sense. With the vision, we saw the fangs, so that kind of makes sense with what we saw.
Yeah.
So you share this
Now we're
info.
gonna have to go vampire hunting.
That's always fun.
But yeah, I'll share that with the group and with Alexandra and the Jarl.
There's a mutual feeling in the room of concern. If the stories you were told as a child are true, that could be very bad. It makes sense that Orcus would want to ally with some of Mantis's original undead creatures. But we need to find out where they were, what they would want, and more importantly, how they would get out of the realm of the dead. I unfortunately will still have to wait for more of this vision to come forward. I imagine we are still looking at least a few days into the future, maybe a week. And I imagine it'll take a while for Orcus and the cult to accept that Mantis is in fact gone forever. But once that fact is accepted, things will change very fast. But if we're able to get ahead of this, we may be able to save ourselves some trouble. So, unlike some of the other realms, the realm of the dead is very, very difficult to get out of, especially for a creature that powerful. Jarl, do you know of any nearby rifts with the realm of the dead? Jarl thinks about it. Nothing in Palhas. Well, there's no telling where in the realm of the dead they are.
Does our staff open a rift to the realm of the dead or the Fae?
Shadowfell,
I
the
think
realm
the
of the
dead.
dead. Realm of the dead.
What did we do with it?
It is hidden away in the wizard's door.
So, could we technically go there and kill him again? Or stop him from coming back?
Well, if we knew where in
Exactly
the
where he
Shadow
was.
Realm, that is the difficulty. How did you acquire this staff?
I got stabbed in the back twice.
Zuko almost died, but we foiled a plot in
For the code, Mantis.
Twin Locks?
Yes,
Is that what-
Twin Locks.
In Twin Locks, for the cult of Mantis trying to steal this staff.
And I imagine this is exactly why they wanted it. But you've blocked off one avenue. Seems they have an alternate plan. My guess is without a rare artifact like that, they have to be looking for a place that naturally has a rift. I'll have to do some research. Let me assure you, even though that you've stopped Mantis, the Order of the Crystal Eye remains on your side and is here to help. I only ask for your discretion. I have no intention on returning to my life as Empress.
If we were to find some way to get somebody else on the throne, how would you suggest would be the best way to do that?
I agree. I'm with him on that one.
Well, I suppose I probably have some cousins somewhere that might have a claim, but it will be even weaker than my brother's. The truth is, and she looks at the Jarl, the Jarl's plan for dissolving the Empire may be the end result, and I have no objection to that. But one thing's for certain, we have to get my brother out of control. So it is time that Palhas start making some serious step to becoming their own country again. The Jarl looks a little bit intimidated, but nods in agreement. It will be difficult with the vanguard spread throughout, but we'll find a way, slowly but surely. Everyone here is comfortable with that. I don't know how loyal you felt to the Empire to begin with, but I hope that I have earned your loyalty here in Palhas, and that when the time comes that you're willing to stand beside me.
be there for that fight.
Yep.
Also, if you talk to the shipwright in what the heck was the name of that town?
Bunerly?
Barely.
Beerly.
Bunerly.
See if you can work out a contract with them to build more ships like the ones that, like our ship. I think that they would be very handy for you to move troops and supplies around.
I will look into that. Like I said, I think I will have a lot of work for you coming up. Because I imagine even with Orcus, the threat of incursions will continue, and we have some unprotected towns that need help getting to where they should be in that regard. So, between you and if we can get a few more of these ships put together, we should be a lot better off. But again, discretion is the name of the game here. We don't want to show our hand before we're ready to deal with the Vanguard. The Cerulean Guard, their loyalty tends to be with the province. They'll be easy enough to convince. Convincing Imperial soldiers, on the other hand, is another matter.
You don't have to worry about showing your hand whenever I can change the deck anytime I want to.
Nice.
Nice.
Very well. Well, you have some supplies to pick up in town, and we'll work from there or inform you of anything else we learn. I'll continue hiding the, well, not the Empress anymore, but the Priestess. And
Would we consider her a priestess, or is there
I would
another
say
name?
Alexander
is there a
says
name suitable?
High Priestess is the title that I was given. We're not particularly a religious order, but we do consider the angel whose life resulted in us getting these. And she holds out, and at this point, you get a good view of it. You realize this is actually a crystal eye, very large, not human-sized, to much larger.
That's cool.
We consider him, in a sense, our god, our spiritual leader, even though he is passed. So yes, the name for my position is High Priestess.
I was gonna say, Oracle, High Priestess, whatever you want to be called, we're fine with that.
Now we need to figure out how to raise an army. And at that, there's a knock on the dining room door. And before the Jarl has a chance to answer, the door opens. Alexandra puts her hood up quickly, reflexively, and Barros re-enters. Sorry, my lord. There's a knight apparent at the door. At first, it sounds like the Jarl's going to chew him out for entering the room without being given permission, but then he gets distracted. Knight apparent. What does that even mean? I do not know, my lord, but she insists that she be allowed to speak to you and the Regulators.
What now?
And the Jarl looks at you. Did you tell anybody that you were coming here?
No.
Well, let's see what this is about. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he waves him off to go get the knight apparent. And then a few moments later, he comes back in with none other than Aethid in tow. And at this point, she's now wearing armor with a metal emblem attached to the front in the same configuration as that of the Hellish Ritter. And that is where we end our
Holy
session.
shit.
All right, so that is our session for tonight. Thank you for those who came in to watch. I know we weren't able to hold on to too many people very late, but the recap for this video will be available on YouTube within the week, as well as the written summary of the session on World Anvil. So please join us again in 2 weeks at the same time, and we'll see you then.